Okay, Doug Chase, welcome to episode 2 of Know the Player. Thank you for allowing me to interview you.
Thank you for having me.
I think a lot of people should know you. Obviously, that's why I wanted to get this interview. You're PDGA number 7487.
That is correct.
So you've been playing for a long time.
Yes, sir.
And not only have you been playing for a long time, you've been here in the Clearwater area the whole time.
That is correct.
And that means that you have a first account witness of number 4297, the Babe Ruth of disc golf, Mr. Kenny Climo, the champ.
That's correct.
And not only that, but you know him personally. You're a friend of his, and you've spent time with him. I know you were his doubles partner at times. You've caddied for him. Tell us something about those years. Tell us some insider story that we're not going to hear anywhere else.
Well, yeah, all that is true. I said I did have the privilege of getting to learn how to play the game of disc golf with Kenny.
So you're like a Climo disciple?
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
I said I was fortunate, like I said, to be friends with him, and like I said, I got the benefit of getting a lot of Kenny's hand-me-downs as far as, extra discs. Like I said, the first couple of years that I played disc golf, I think the bag that I had was Kenny's bag from the year before, or something along that lines. I said it was, just something you really don't realize the magnitude of how good he was until you start traveling around with him a little bit, and you kind of get that rock star feel. I remember going to tournaments with him, and I'm just hanging out with my buddy Kenny, and the next thing you know, you got people coming up asking for autographs and, hey, will you sign my disc? And I'm like, this is kind of cool, man. I said, I didn't realize that you're that popular across the United States. But we traveled a couple times. I went to Bowling Green, went to Kansas City, a couple other places that we got to travel out of town, and that even grew larger. The fanfare was there. I said, well, I got to caddy for him in, I believe it was 2004 at the USDGC. I went there to qualify. I missed qualifying by a stroke, but had the luxury of getting to caddy for him for all 4 rounds of a tournament that I believe he won. I want to say double digits. Don't quote me on that, but it had to be close to that. But just watching him play for 4 rounds on such a high level was pretty fun to be a part of. It wasn't me so much caddying, it was more me just carrying his bags and taking in everything that he did. Like I said, and when the event was over, everybody coming up, hey man, hey champ, can I get you autograph? It was really cool to be a part of.
I have to admit, I was a little starstruck when I first saw him in person after seeing him on YouTube so many times. His career was astonishing. He won 12 World Championship, MPO World Championships, right? And
correct.
That spanned from when, 1993 or so?
He started, I believe, he had 1990 to 1999. I believe, well, maybe 99 was the year that he lost, because he had nine. That's right. It was because he was one short of, I think, sweeping the 90s. And I think it was Ron Russell that beat him in 99. But yeah, he had a heck of a run.
So, do you have some just personal story about you and him?
Probably my favorite of all time was when we did travel. We were traveling out of town, and Kenny and I drove, but I don't know how crazy he's gonna be about me sharing about this, but we knew that we were going to be in a car. The third person with us was Rob Parliament, and Kenny and I decided to make sure that we were ready for the road trip. So we ate a lot of onions, and poor Rob Parliament was abused that entire car ride from Kenny and I, just gassing the car up like you would not believe. And every time, like, we would roll the window down, Rob would be sleeping, and you'd roll the window down and you'd see him wake up. But that was something I never forgot in that particular road trip, and I'm sure Rob didn't forget it either.
Yeah, it
was pretty funny.
That's definitely an insider story.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your career a little bit. Obviously, with a PDGA number as low as yours, you started back in the 80s.
Yep.
And I remember you played in the second ever Zimbabwe Open.
Yep.
And that was back in '88. And then the third one, I think, was in '89. Now, several times in your career, you go out to PDGA.com, you can see that you kind of dropped off the radar for a little while, 2,
Yep.
3, 4, even more years.
Yep.
When Mike threw you some curves. But let's talk about the most recent time that you had to quit disc golf for a little while. That was because of some latent injuries that you suffered way back in 2003?
2001.
2001
Yeah.
from a car accident?
Yeah, it was a car accident.
And you finally had to get neck surgery, serious neck surgery.
Yep.
And you're on your way back now. I mean, you're actually, making another comeback right now.
Yeah, like I said, that was it was definitely something that set me back quite a ways. I lost feeling in both of my hands, on the outside of my hands, and had to have the surgery. It definitely took me out of the game a lot longer than I anticipated, just in life in general. But as I just was starting to get back into the feel of things and wanting to start attempting to play sports of any kind again, I started playing a little bit of racquetball. That was my other primary sport. And started playing a little bit of disc golf. In a racquetball tournament, I had a partial tear in my rotator cuff, so that set me back another couple of years on top of the neck surgery thing.
Oh boy.
So after a long battle of getting older and things breaking, starting to, like probably the healthiest I felt in years. So I've been at it pretty hard now for like 4 or 5 months. Definitely feeling good about my game as far as I'm seeing progress. It does get frustrating because once you play at a level, at a high level for a while, and you downslide back to where I, was, it can be frustrating. But I feel things are getting there. It's just going to take a little bit more time, a little bit more practice.
Well, one of the side effects of your surgery were your hands. I mean, you had numbness in your hands, and that kind of subsided. But you said they were like 90% of the way back. Tell everybody how that actually felt.
The best way I can describe that is if you were fishing around in a cooler for a can of pop or beer or whatever for 30 seconds, you take your hands out. That's how my hands felt all the time, 24 hours a day. And like I said, about my pinky is like partially numb, but the rest of my fingers are pretty good. My left hand is fine, but unfortunately I'm right-handed.
Yeah.
So you just learn to live with it, and it's like that. Some days it gets, gets a little worse than others, but for the most part, it's livable.
Now, I noticed that you started out like all of us as an amateur. You played, advanced. I saw you won the Moccasin Lake Open, I think in '93 or something like that.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
And you switched to pro. Played, a lot of tournaments. And then, you had one of your breaks from the sport for a while, and you came back and. But then you reclassified as an amateur again.
Yeah, I just did that just recently, just simply because I wanted to put myself in a position to start playing competitively. I didn't want to be at the back of the bus. You got to learn to win all over again. You got to have that feeling of confidence. I mean, so I wanted to put myself in that position. And I said recently in the Coachman tournament, I was able to. I started off, I was 6 strokes down after the first round. By the final round, third round, with like 3 or 4 holes to go, I was actually tied for the lead, and the nerves got the best of me. So that's what I'm trying to talk about, relearning how to win. Took a bogey on hole 6 of all holes here, and I said I managed to finish 2 back, but so I was happy with where I was, and felt good that I was able to at least get there and feel more confident on the next time that I get there. I'm going to be a little bit more prepared. So.
Just getting back into the routine again.
Yeah, like I said, it's all about confidence in this game, that's for sure.
Okay, so you got a match coming up with Chris Ward. I know you don't know him. He's won 2 tournaments recently in the intermediate division. He's another straight putter like Jody Westenover, who you played the first week. Are you feeling pretty confident or ready for that match?
I'm just ready to play golf, and I don't really worry about who I'm playing. My goal is just to play my game and play the best of my ability, and whatever happens, happens.
Okay, well, thanks, Doug. We appreciate the time, and thank you for the interview.
I appreciate you having me.